We're live on all the Soulspeaks platforms, the YouTubes, the Facebooks, the whatever the other one's called. And yes, Spotlight Show of the Week. Let me put up some text. Spotlight Show of the Week. Right on. Okay, here we go. This is going to be good, man. This is going to be good. I can feel it, man. The energy's just been off the charts, totally off the charts. August has been just hellacious.
Yeah, don't tell me about it. Come on.
I know, man.
23, baby.
Yeah, there's Edina. All right, so we got what? 9 people in the house. They're coming. Let me just fix this. Let me get everything set up. All right. Yeah, okay, man. Here we go. Yeah. All right. Nice little tunes. Compliments of Ty Hudnall.
Yeah.
Man, we'll have to get you on our. We do music every Monday night. We've been doing it for a year.
Wow, really?
Yeah, man. I'll send you some clips. Yeah, and we have people sit in. Like, Ty is like a maestro. He's studied music all his life. He plays the guitar, the bass, the flute. He used to play the sax. He plays the keyboards. He runs drum beats and all that. And it's always just a spontaneous, we just make it up as we go. And I just come. I used to bring my lyrics, and now I just make it up. You know, we make everything up. But we have people sit in with us. It's pretty dope. We're just starting to cut excerpts out of it. I've been listening to some stuff recently, just trying to, identify stuff. But we've had just some amazing, amazing things. We might have to move it up a little bit for you because it would be too late for you. But yeah. I just all right. Well, let me roll this thing out, man. I'm really I'm just kind of still out of my body. It's been a hell of a August so far since Lionsgate. But Lavelle Zimmerman is somebody that I connected with when I came off the streets in 2013. He was one of the first people that started posting in SOULOGY group, and this is back when we had like 800 people, believe it or not. And and so I used to see him in the original studio when I was starting to have some like out of body things happen, and I'd see him, and I'd run into him, and I'd be like, "Dude, did you know I ran into you?" And he would just laugh at me, Like, I remember one time I sent him a post because I'm not a post, a message. I was all excited. I was like, "Dude, I'm in the Great White Brotherhood." It's like because they had come in, but everything with Lavelle was always in stride. So one of the things I really learned from him, he never instructed me on this, but was that get over the wow. Like, you're going to get downloaded, you're going to get hit, you're going to get this memory or this channeling or whatever, but get over the wow, because we got work to do. And so I remember years ago talking to somebody around 2015, 2016, like, who is it out there that's, is a go-to? And there's a lot of people, doing stuff, right? And they said, yeah, Lavelle Zimmerman. He's consistent. He's always boom, boom, boom. So that's something I had in common with you. I just knew that no matter what the hell was going on, no matter how I felt, get up and do it every day. So I just want to give you big props and let everybody know how much you mean to me and how much you mean to SOULOGY. And this includes his music. I don't even want to call it music. His vibrational reality that's expressed through the music and the arts and the collaborations and co-creations that he has with him and his crew, who I still follow these guys individually. I still like watching what they're all up to. I get a kick out of Richard, man, and his little story reel. I'm like, dang. And it keeps me going though, At 61 years old, it lets me know I still got a little pop. But and then finally, if you haven't tapped into Sunday Stillness, which is around, it fluctuates, but it's around, I would say probably like 9, 10, 11 Eastern time. So early morning Pacific, or even if you catch it on the rerun, it's a really, really solid contribution every Sunday. It runs for, it can run for an hour, 2 hours. But I watched Lavelle. I always have. And I remember, and there's nothing I love about Lavelle and people like him. He'll come on I remember when this was starting. He would come on. There'd be 5 people on. And it don't matter to him if there's 5 or there's 155, because he knows the whole universe is watching. And it's about anchoring stuff in the moment through our aligned thoughts, words, and actions. So, welcome to the show, Lavelle Zimmerman, Soul Speaks 5D. It's good to have you back. And yeah, man.
A great pleasure and honor always. Once again, humbly, the work continues to be done. The lifestyle continues to be cultivated. Everything is continuously expanding and more vibrancy and youth and vitality. The process is magical, to say the least. And come on, we're still here and always going to be here every day.
Yeah.
More than New Earth, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And God, so much has happened. I don't know the last time we did a show. I think it was probably close to a year ago. Because there's been a whole different thing going on. Everything's moving so fast. But of course, we know the linear time is not what it used to be. But
no.
Yeah, I just one of the things that I always admired about you too is when a person shows up every day, and because of the expanded telepathy and because of our higher sensitivities, you can kind of tap into a person. You get into what's he up to today? Where's he at? I'm talking about in between the lines, and even what you speak, frankly. But that's another thing I admire about you is you show up no matter what's going on, and it's interesting watching the reflections as they morph, and as they change, over and over. And I'm sure people see the same thing with me. They've said it about me. But again, you're very consistent. You very much held the line all the way since the time I met you, who you are, what you are, and what you are a part of. And the balance of your messages are on point. And even through it all, like you're in divine neutrality, and I have a great deal of respect for that. While I watch the fits and spurts of the communities and people talking about their false light and the projections and stuff, and as time goes on, we observe, right, and we witness. But I just got to ask you, do you ever come off that? Do you ever get like charged or shocked or induced, by the let's just say the antagonistic or the imbalanced energy? You know what I mean?
Yes, of course. Yeah. Just to be simple, yes.
Yeah.
But it's almost as if the depth of connection that's developed as we experience like these upheavals and what have you. It's like clearing. It's almost like digging deeper into the bucket to pull out more gunk, and as the gunk comes out, there's more clarity and room for purity, more just more presence, because you recognize the true depth of the experience. It's like, no, you're really clearing. All of this stuff is clearing, and it has to come out. It has to be expressed. So I'm not necessarily knocking anyone's temporary emotional imbalances or depression, because it's clearing and it's messy. It's just that's the foundation of the healing experience, and only through embracing that do we come to this space of balance. Only through that sense of self-acceptance and forgiveness do we truly heal and come to this place of balance. So you're going to have those things. It's just the weight of reflecting on your outburst, or temporarily, a temporary being out of alignment, or kind of like raging or cussing people out or what have you. All of that stuff has to come out. It's just that our strength is in our ability to return to ourselves and love ourselves, the compassion and gentleness in which we handle ourselves. That is where the strength comes from. That's when you lift the weights. It's just continuing to do that every day and know that this is a part of the show. That's it.
Yeah, I love that, because there really seems to be like an untethering that's occurred I want to say July, August, where victimhood, perpetrator energy, judgment
Hmm.
is really, really leaving us if we want to step into the streams that don't involve that. And
Absolutely.
and I'm watching this, like it's like watching, like I reunited with my mother after 6 years, which has been really gratifying and validating. And we went down to our hometown for a funeral, and it was interesting watching the unconditional love stream very clearly, and then the distortions stream, not in judgment, but just watching the two flow, and it's been quite extraordinary. But I really, it really, and we're actually leaving again to go back down there tomorrow, and
Okay.
but what I'm noticing is that there are two camps. They're not like pitted against each other. But
Hmm.
what my soul's really come in and shown me is that the 0 point field runs from one end to the other to include the
Hmm.
polarities.
Hmm.
That it's not some thin blue line in the middle of the lane here that we're trying to teeter totter like we're on a tightrope. It's actually the whole thing,
Full
and
spectrum.
uh, and it's an interesting thing to sit with as you kind of get used to it. But yeah, I feel like that's happened. I think your explanation is perfect because it's really like in a space where the triggers are no longer seen as the way they were. I love what you said. It's just the way it's got to come out. It's got to come out, you
Got to
know,
come on.
all the way
And
around.
it's your sense of acceptance that's your strength. These are the dumbbells. This is where you lift the weights. Like,
Yeah,
what can you forgive? What can you accept? Your capacity of acceptance is your capacity of unconditional love. That's it.
yeah,
And it all starts with you. You're the number one case study. It's your
yeah,
own stuff. A lot of times when it comes to like the voice of the ego and presence and experiences, this voice can go and say just the absolute most darkest, deepest things, and it's like we view it, but at the same time, that that sense of balance and the work is in recognizing that that's not our voice. That's just the frequencies that come in with the entertainment of, or at least the entertainment of those energies, or at least the flow of those energies as they move through. You hear this information, you hear the voices and all the projections. It's just that a lot of times the guilt and shame comes in where we feel obligated to grab onto it and identify with it. And then we kind of
yeah.
beat ourselves up about even entertaining the ideas or like allowing or accepting the voices. It's like, no, really, you can just accept the stuff and let it flow through, however nasty it is, regardless of how deep and diabolical it may be. You really just have to have the strength to accept it and allow it to flow through. It's like, no, that's where your strength is, in recognizing or differentiating who you are versus the energies that are flowing through you. This is
Boom.
the
Yeah, yeah. God, I got chills all up and down my back. just, just Yeah, man. I mean, like, I just look at where things were in 2012, 2013. Like when I first came into your space or your field, came into my sight of my line of vision, and man, just like we like, for instance, I know I used to ask you a lot on the show, like what the hell's going on collectively, but and your response was always uh, really moving away, not diminishing or ignoring or denying what's going on collectively, but diminishing its prioritization in your focus, or in the
yes.
focus that you would advise others, which is it's all you,
Mhm.
which I think was kind of hard to understand, kind of hard overall for people to get totally, because there was so much pushback coming from the inversion of duality, but now it's all kind of like starting to fall into place, and I think people can start seeing it now. In respect to that, I would imagine that in your lifestyle, because if you look at, if anybody, if you want to get an idea of Lavelle and you don't know him, just watch his shorts, watch his little bit of the Sunday stillness, look at his place, look at his space, look at what's behind him right now. Look at the architecture of it, the design of it, the message of it. You know what I mean? And I would imagine that your day
Mhm.
is very conscious from the time you get up to the time you go to sleep. I mean, I don't see you fucking around, just just distracting yourself. I mean, I know you're a human being. Don't get me wrong,
No
but
doubt.
like it just seems like that you're on it more and more and more every day, and I think that speaks to all of us.
Mhm.
But you know, I don't think you. I'm just curious if you do. You don't probably spend any time on these global issues and the collective suggested programming like mainstream media, movies, all that stuff.
No, I mean, no, it's an integrated process. Come out, watch X-22 report from time to time, checking out this flow of
Mm,
information and different outlets. All of these things are integrated within the reality. It's just that my part as a foundation of the experience is to remain present and balanced and observant. That's it. Versus like kind of feeding into any polarity or rooting for any aspect of the experience. It's just observing the evolution and unfoldment of the reality based on where I am energetically. Because once again, I'm the foundation of everything that's happening within this experience, within my reality, within the unfoldment of this transformation that's taking place. It's just that the balance is in being present and not necessarily taking sides or rooting for any particular aspect of the
right.
experience. It's you observing your experience, and sometimes the details provide certain insight to you as an individual. Because
True.
once again, it's a holographic reflection of yourself. All the aspects of the experience and characters are doing what they're supposed to do based on your frequency, because you're observing yourself holographically, and their actions are nothing but reflections of the things that are taking place internally. So once again, that sense of maturity and objectivity is absolutely important beyond taking sides or kind of like getting into the weeds of things. It's more so enjoying the stimulations while at the same time being objective and knowing that it's your sense of balance, the sense of cultivation and acceptance that you're practicing in your own life each and every day. So no, it's it's a lot,
Yeah.
but the foundation of it all is me observing myself
Yeah.
and being able to accept all the details of the experience, even when it comes to lifestyle and some of my old quirks as far as personality and
Right.
social environment and what have you. We talked
Yeah.
about this stuff before, being at the club and
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so on.
I'm.
All of this stuff is like life. This is like real life, and
Mhm.
the point is, it's in your ability or your capacity of self acceptance and authenticity, which you truly embody the unconditionally loving nature of Prime Creator. It's
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's in observing everything and knowing that everything is valid and it's all supposed to be there, beyond omitting or pushing things away or devalidating anything. Like, no, all of this is a part of the story. And at the end of the day, there's a beautiful essence that's truly unique and unconditional. And every aspect of it has jewelry, it has value, it has
Mm.
unique expression, it has aspects of the creator expressing itself. But you, as an observer, it's necessary for you to embody the beauty of acceptance. Like, no, everybody deserves to be here. You're doing what you're supposed to do. My work is to be here with it and be in the space of acceptance of it beyond judgment. But no, please do that. That's what you're supposed to do. And at the end of the day, when I reflect on my own experiences when I was young, kind of shirt off on stage and flirting with the girls and all this stuff, it was in my sense of acceptance that allowed me to view those experiences from an objective standpoint and know
Yeah.
that all of these things were aspects of the energy coming out of me and expressing the vibrancy and cultivating, kind of weaving this space of unconditionally loving balance, where this is an aspect of how I chose to express myself, or the experience of coming to this space of unconditional love and balance. Because at the end of the day, as far as angelic presence, there's only observation. There's no
Yeah.
judgment. This is
Yeah.
right or this is wrong. This is good. This is bad. Good job. High vibrational, positive, negative. There's only the process of unconditional love, or at least returning to that space of self acceptance. And this is where you find the beauty of Prime Creator. self-acceptance,
Wow.
depth of your being.
Whew. Jeez. Yeah. Thank you for saying that. And you know, that's a beautiful thing. I've experienced that recently,
Mhm.
where there are certain aspects of my lifestyle.
Mhm.
Uh, you know, you go through this process. You know, as you metamorphosize. You know, you go
Yeah.
through this process of self judgment, and then you know forgiveness, and then you know, and on and on and on. Higher love, a self love quotient. You know,
Mhm.
higher self respect. But how certain things can be revisited, uh, and now the energy's different,
Mhm.
the connection's different. You know, it's
Yes.
not just people that we have prejudices and biases and self-deprecating thoughts. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
things. It's past, present, future. It's all, the whole thing. So that's been a real validator for me in the last few weeks as the disc, I don't want to say disconnect, but as the illusionary attachment is cut
Mhm.
of certain things from the programming, there's this resounding, uh, you know, fuller collaboration with everything external, which again is
Mhm.
what you're saying. Like everything is me,
Yeah.
right? Which has been a big kind of a affirmation from my soul in my head. You know, as I'm taking walks, as I'm going down the street, whatever, and it's like, dude, this is all you, every
Yep.
bit of it. I'm like, how can it all be me? Well, it is. Every bit of it is you.
All of
Everyone is acting the way they're acting because of you. The tree is there for you. The trees grabbed me the other night. This
that.
female tree grabs me the other night. Had a message from, but it's all me speaking to me.
Absolutely.
Now that puts us in a place of what do we do now? Like it almost feels like to me like we've been on this badass roller coaster, and
Mhm.
half the time we're screaming, you know, and the other half we're laughing, and
Mhm.
you know, you part of you wants to just get the hell off this thing, and then you come up toward the end, and you come up the last big hill, and all of a sudden you start seeing that straight line going back to where you got on. You're like, no, no,
Mhm.
no, no, we don't want it to stop
No,
yet.
no.
Yeah, but like, what do we do now? What's your how do you approach? I mean, I know you're very much, because I know your story. We don't have to
Mhm.
get into it. You
Mhm.
know, I know you're very present, or that's where your focus is. I mean, you've faced your mortality, and
Mhm.
you've put it to bed. You know,
Yeah.
but what do we do now? What do we do now that the window? I'm not going to say the window's closing, but there is a cycle to this, and we are aware. And it wasn't just to be aware; it's
Mhm.
to do something. I guess to emulate creation itself. You know,
Mhm.
Vesica Pisces, new creation,
Yeah.
in many ways. But what would you say we do from here, or how do we approach this from here?
Well, first and foremost, and I know it seems bland and sometimes repetitive, but that continuous return to presence and enjoying the cycles of experience. Because a lot of times, some of these experiences seem regurgitated, as you
Mm,
were speaking to before. It's like, well, I kind of did this already and kind of accepted it, so it seems like it's a rerun. It's just that at the end of the day, these are like refinements. These are refined reruns where you're establishing a deeper and deeper and deeper sense of knowing and acceptance of that principle, of those internal principles where they're unshakable. It's like, well, a lot of times with the mind identity, when we experience stuff, and when it comes to memory, it's like, oh, well, I kind of did this before. Oh, I heard that before. Y'all keep saying the same thing. And there's like a sense of impatience because it's like, well, you keep recycling the same information and X, Y, Z. So it gets impatient. It's just that that impatience is the target. That's what's being targeted. Recognize yourself, like really be here. Yes, the principles you've heard of before and so on and so. That's great that you heard it and you remember it, but it's not necessarily about memory, it's about embodiment. It has
mm,
something to do with the mind construct. And yeah, you heard it before, and it's like you keep repeating yourself, and I'm getting bored. It's like, well, yeah, that's why it's being repeated because you're not present.
mm,
Bored present Well, don't get bored. There's no such thing as a rerun. Each and every moment is new. This is always a new reality. Always. It's never not been a brand new reality. It's just that each and every time, based on your response to the experience, is continuing to refine you. And once again, it's in your reaction or response to the present moment is based on that's the groundwork for what happens after that. That's based on what happens next. So if you respond like you did last time, oh no, of course the same kind of mundane type of experiences are kind of going to come forth after that because that's how you responded last time. So you're going to get the same thing, just another version. It's just that sense of presence beyond, this kind of cyclical reaction. It's like, okay, now you're ready because you found peace and acceptance and finally being okay with what seemed to be mundane. This is where you're truly present. This is where you truly recognize that each and every moment is brand new. If it feels the same, it's going to continue to come again because you still don't get it yet. It's going to continue return until you recognize that it's new, and it's new because you're different. There's no impatience. There's no memory as far as what happened before. When you stop living in Groundhog Day, you break out of the cycle because there's a true sense of acceptance. If there's a sense of frustration, then there is no acceptance. You haven't accepted it yet because you're kind of getting bored and impatient and wanting things to change. And it's like, no, you really have to be in the moment where considering the past is no longer a thing because you're truly present. You recognize the true depth of the moment where there's only a unique expression of your current frequency. And it's going to continue to present itself as a mundane experience until you come to the point of accepting that, no, this is a brand new moment. This is absolutely new. And when you come to that place, then things can move forward because you've accepted it. You're no longer waiting on something. You're no longer constricted to a linear illusion because you're not waiting. There's no expectation. You're not looking for fireworks and bombs and revelations and people getting arrested or what happened with this or what happened. It's like, no, you're really here now. You've accepted yourself and your story, truly. When you're not stuck in that cycle anymore emotionally, because that's the kicker. It's not necessarily about what you're doing on the surface. It's how you feel about it.
Yeah.
That's your true. Frequency expressing itself. How do you feel about right now? Yeah, you've been here before. And it's like, I've seen this before. It's like, well, that's the same energy. Those are the same emotions that you had last time when you experienced this point in your life. And it's like, well, until you come to the space of being satisfied, then you'll be able to move forward beyond that because you're truly satisfied with the gift of being alive and being present. It's like, no, now you get it.
Yeah.
And it's an acceptance.
Jesus. Sometimes people tell me, man, you said exactly what I'm feeling, but I couldn't say it. And I don't say that a lot, but I'm saying it today. Everything he's saying is like the last 10 days of my life. It's crazy. It's spot on though. It's spot on. And what I'm noticing, this I started noticing this about a year ago. Because I went into Sedona. The mother said, go to Sedona. And I go in and went to the studio, Ty's studio. And he says, and there was this dude that was there named Amethyst. And he was a jazz guitarist.
Okay.
And he had been called to Sedona by the Mother Goddess to go up on the mountain and play the guitar. And he was homeless. So anyway,
wow.
That was the first day. And so Ty says, we got this guitarist here, man. We're going to do a studio session. You're going to sing. I'm like, dude, I never did that before. But something started happening. Okay, that's just how that's the way I experienced it. And over the next year, what you're talking about, this thing about the barometer is how do you feel, right? Are you present with your feelings? Which starts with like your emotions, and then and what's behind it. Is it insecurity? Is it fear? Or whatever the case is. And what I noticed was that it wasn't always a comfortable thing, right? That's
Yeah.
why I brought in the example of kind of how it started in my head, like sitting
Yeah.
down, cameras on, and so what I'm getting at is like, but every time you push, and I'm watching people do it with these new shows,
Yeah.
they're nervous, they're pushing through, and as you know, as being a performer and a presenter for many years, uh, the nervousness is good. It's
Yeah.
it's it's not going to go away. You're not going to walk in there like walking on water and just beaming brilliant gold light. You're going to have this human element, and there's something beautiful about it. But what I wanted to say is that these magical things happen. All
Yeah.
of a sudden, this other element comes in, and all of a sudden, you have this experience. It's like, holy shit, like 2 nights ago, I was walking home at 11 o'clock at night, and I hear this dude singing in an empty parking lot back in the corner of a strip center, and I just turned, boom, walk over to him. He's like, "Hey, dude, how's it going?" I'm like, "Cool." He says, "You want to harmonize with me?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it, man." Flip on the, but yeah, is that something that was the whole world could relate to? Doesn't even matter. I'm the whole world. It was a beautiful experience for 15 minutes. Like, you know what I mean? And even like this today. So there's a certain well, maybe it's the presence of the third energy, the Holy Spirit, the Soulology,
Exactly.
the whatever you want to call it. It's becoming truly a triad, and you know what I mean. And it's cool. It's cool to be able to sit here with you, with my brother, in transparency and vulnerability, and just say, okay, man, these parts of me are at the table too, right? Something
That's
beautiful
right.
happens, right? Yeah,
Yeah, we're in the house.
yeah, yeah.
We're in the house, and that's the beauty. The sense of vulnerability. Once again, two colors coexisting creates a third color.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, each and every time. It's just that these are reflections of self that um, are presented on purpose. There are no mistakes. The intuition's guiding you to the corner of the parking lot to sing with the other dude, and it's like, well, this is a part of the story. And
Yeah.
like gifts like that, like secret, like almost like side missions, special stuff that's kind of encoded in your reality, but you only experience these secret missions in your vulnerability, in your sense of or at least you're being sophisticated enough to open your heart and engage.
Mm.
Like being courageous enough to go in the dark corner of the mall parking lot to go and sing with this person that you don't know. Like this is the stuff that magic is made of.
Mm.
But
Mm.
it's necessary to be mature enough to do that, to be open enough to do that. And at the end of the day, this is something that's integrated in every aspect of our lives on
Mm.
every level. Opportunities like this are being presented every day. Come on, I was just, I mean, sometimes I live in the mountains, and I'm humbled by these experiences, but I find them beautiful because of the innocence of it all. I'm kind of like ready to drive to the city, and the person just, hey, no greeting, no name, no thank you, no anything. Hey, you going to the city? Like, yeah. And then she kind of just opened my back door and got in. And okay, but it's that. It's
Right.
that in which you allow the magic to take place. Like these opportunities, it's almost like life is presenting you with all of these catalysts of your own like courage and self-acceptance and beauty. And the more you do that, it's like you're almost being groomed into embodying this divinity. Like how open are you to God?
Yeah.
How? Yes, of course, fear and the past and experiences and so on and so forth. But once again, like you're coming to this place of recognizing you're only experiencing more and more of your own energy. Yes, use discernment and what have you. It's just that as I refine and embody more of my own courage and become sensitive to my environment, I know how to make this split second decisions when it comes to like being open hearted and accepting people and trusting people and engaging with reflections of self and being there for each other. And it's like, no, really, how open are you? How much do you trust yourself? How much do you trust me? Are you willing to participate in these sacred experiences beyond your own filters, beyond the experiences that you've had as far as protection and fear and discernment and what have you. It's like, no, come on. Like, are you really embodying what you're expressing to people, your creativity, all of this stuff that you're talking about? Are you really in that space? Do you really trust your experience? Is it okay? Like, is it okay for you to like walk out of the house without protection or money or what have you? Like, are you really embodying this stuff? Yeah, you forgot your wallet or your phone. And it's like, well, come on. Like, life is talking to you.
Mm.
You're developing a sense of sophistication and courage and self acceptance. No, it's happening. Go with the flow.
Mm.
Trust the little inconveniences that unfold, because this is all grooming. You're grooming yourself and being more confident in your being. Like, there's certain like happy accidents or happy mistakes that take place, and then when we go with the flow and kind of don't allow ourselves to, because sometimes we like beat ourselves up. And it's like, oh, I forgot, I shouldn't have did that. That was so irresponsible, and da 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 da. And it's like, once you come to a place of like being okay with that and letting go of that self-judgment, you get to these spaces and places, and then you end up having these like just magical, miraculous experiences, because you actually decided to trust yourself this time.
Yeah.
Without the judgment, without the voice. Like, no, you're really present now. You weren't supposed to bring your wallet. Do you recognize that you're truly safe? That we're showing you yourself, we're showing you how powerful you are. We're showing you each and every time, beyond the analysis. No, this is you being groomed and recognizing your own power and trusting yourself, trusting your energy field and your experience. It's all a part of the show. It's just, it's necessary for you to participate wholeheartedly beyond fear. Be here.
Yeah.
Be with God. It's okay. Let go of the control. It's all working like it's supposed to. It's a brilliant, miraculous movie.
Yeah. Wow. That's another one. What he said. I have a couple things come to mind. One is the SOULOGY Fest last year. I ended up not actually going because I was extradited for a misdemeanor through a 10-hour trip back to Houston, Texas from something 6.5 years ago that ultimately was dismissed at every level. And
yeah,
but it was, to your point, it was this divine orchestration. And as I'm shackled in the back of this Tahoe for a misdemeanor from 6.5 years ago with these two bounty hunters, the whole landscape started shape-shifting. This speaks to what you're talking about. It speaks to an individual who, on the surface, this is happening, but the power of the power of the arrangement of the situation, the orchestration demonstrated what I am, what I'm a part of, or something to what you're speaking. The other thing that comes to mind, this whole thing about trust. You can only, for me, I can only trust myself as much as I trust everything outside myself.
Damn.
And one of the things that's really surfaced since March, when we made this jump, has been, because obviously the huge percentage, I mean it's coming down a bit, but 80% of this field of consciousness has been in the physical feminine form. And so naturally, most of the collaborators I have are females. And I trust myself. It's not about that. And it's not about whether I trust them or don't trust them. What I'm saying is what I've noticed is that there is a trustworthiness in the air. There is a mutual trust. There is something that has been crossed, that when Kundalini energy begins to flow, when the creative life force begins to flow, and the torus field within and the torus field shared begins to flow, and we start to feel ecstatic, and you start to feel the things that are natural to us, that we don't go into the old patterns and behaviors, that we're in a field of respect and co-creation and love. And that's also happened to me right now with you. I mean, you know what I mean? But I guess what I'm saying is that can't just be me and you and those that I'm collaborating with. Yeah. Do you feel that there? Do you feel like that the energy is such that if you've had your head in the game, you know what's going on with you. You know what
Mm-hmm.
programs you got running. You know what I'm saying. I mean, like, are we at a point now where the unveiling has occurred within ourselves, whether we like it or not? Um, and so the coding there, the data is there for us to more harmonically create and live our life and experience our life, something
You
like
got
that.
it. You got it. No, it's like that. Like
Mm.
absolutely like that. Because it's an integrated process. It's like sometimes we feel as if it's like this light switch moment or this portal or this date. And, the reports, sometimes we rely on reports and what have you. It's like, no, it's already happening. And it's happening with you. Come on. Like the frequency is increasing every day. It's all like in essence, the the current is flowing with your capacity of openness. Like, what are you able to receive? Like, as far as the experience is concerned, like your energy is concerned, are you receptive to the energy that's being presented at the moment? Are you open to the catalysts that are being presented? Because all of the experiences are for the purpose of, at its foundation, for the purpose of your healing. The entirety of the experience, everything that's happening, each and every millisecond, is for the purpose of your healing, for the purpose of your increase in frequency, the opening of your heart, each and every energy center within your being, the whole purpose of life itself, the whole fact, like everything that is happening, every tick, um, and phase, experience, day, second, it's all happening for you because it's all integrated. Life is happening for you, period. Each and every moment. It's all about you because you're the foundation of all that you observe. Everything is happening for you. What is the capacity of your engagement? How much are you willing to accept and validate the nature of the experience? Like the small things, the gust of wind, the bump, the person that you see next to you, the car, the license, the numbers, and once again, even when it comes to angelic numbers or what have you, beloved, listen, it's not dependent on seeing the sequence of 3334445. I mean, no, every number, every number that you observe is a communication to you. You can randomly look up 3745 that you see next to you at the moment if you feel like doing so, and that message is for you.
Hmm.
There are no mistakes, accidents, or room for error nowhere in the hologram that is infinite intelligence. Ever. Everything is for you. It's just that the more you're conscious of the experience, the more engaged that you are with the unfoldment. There are no extra pieces. Ever. There are no extra pieces here. Everything is for you. It's just that your conscious expansion is allowing you to engage with the depth of detail. The depth of detail is constant. There is nothing out of place. There's nothing that you see that's not for you to see. But once again, it's you that is expanding in consciousness at the moment. It's you that is realizing that more and more every day. The more depth that you dive into yourself, the more you recognize the absolute perfection in everything. There's no such thing as synchronicity. That's just the methodology of life itself. Period.
Yeah. Yeah, brother. I don't know whether to start crying or I don't know, man. This is powerful. No, it's so meaningful to me.
No.
It really is. I mean, and I know I don't have to like overkill this, but I mean this is it. You know, I
Mhm.
love Joseph Campbell and his famous quote, "Eternity is here,"
There we
and
go.
if you don't get it now, you're never gonna get it. And so, I mean, seriously, like somebody said to me the other day, in regard to lack,
Mhm.
uh, interpersonal connection, right?
Mhm.
Am I supposed to be grateful for what space is there? You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
And I'm like, yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I don't get that. You know, I mean, like, if I can only see you, I mean, this is like a human, you know what I mean? Like a human comprehension. Like, if it means I can only see you, Lavelle, once every 3 months for a couple of hours, you're damn right. I'm grateful.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to measure things by the duration of a time that doesn't even exist, or a space that doesn't even stand between us, right? So, yeah, I think that whole gratitude, that's really, you know what I mean? Like, how can you can't have, if you have unconditional love,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, you have no judgment. So you are that observer and witness that you're talking about, and experiencer. How can you not have unconditional trust? Or how can you not have, unconditional grace or unconditional, I mean, it all goes together. It's all or nothing. So that's kind of what I see, coming in, and like what you're bringing in is, hey man, that stuff's not even here. Like, get the dust off your shoulders, man. It's like not even here. So if it's not here and I don't have these threads on me, then wow, like why? That's why my body's always in chills, and that's why I'm always getting this Kundalini energy going now, and that's why you start crying, and that's why you start laughing or whatever. But yeah, that feels really good. That feels really, really good. It feels like there's no obstruction. We can just play. And dude, you're on fire. I mean, I've seen you for 10 years. You're absolutely carrying it. Which means ultimately you've done the work internally, and you still never take your eye off of what's coming in and how it makes you feel, which is like the recipe that works.
No doubt. That's the nature of prime creator presence.
Yeah.
Presence. No, this is the miracle you're experiencing yourself. Be here. Continue to experience it. Trust how you feel. Allow yourself to move. Allow the information to come in. Allow yourself to express. Allow it all to flow through you like a river. And it's constant. There's no consideration of linear time whatsoever when you're present. So it's going to speak. It's going to act. It's going to dance. It's going to love. It's going to sing. It's going to walk. It's going to run, exercise, eat, enjoy, accept, connect, love. Like we're going to do that. It's just that level of presence is allowing the flow of energy to move through you consistently, and be able to acknowledge more and more of it based on your ability to allow it. Come on, that's how abundance works. The more and more you allow it to flow through you and be an expression, the more you're a mature custodian, the more is blessed upon you because you're a custodian. There's no blockages. You're not holding on to anything based on fear. It's just flowing. And the more information, the more knowing, awareness that you allow, the more will be given, because it's an endless supply. It's going to come. But are you allowing it? Are you allowing it to materialize into the world? Are you allowing it to be of service to the spectrum of existence you're currently observing? That's the thing. Are you allowing it? Are you accepting it? That's the thing. No blockages, no doors. Let it out. Let it out. Each and every day, let it out. It got to come through you. You're a vehicle for that. It got to come through, and you have to be mature enough to let it come out beyond fear, beyond judgment, beyond all of this, all of those blockages. It just got to come out. God is attempting to materialize itself on the surface of planet Earth. Period. It's just trying to come out. And you got to be courageous enough to let it.
Yeah, I was talking to one of my collaborators yesterday because what I'm watching happen in this little mirror called SOULOGY is a little mirror of the universal, right? Like, is these people finding the pockets that they like, right? Like this person is a graphic artist, and that's not even the right term. You know what I mean? A creative being that's thriving and having a blast with what they're doing. And I said, well, that's the whole, objective is let everybody do what they want to do, and the pieces will come together by themselves. And the cool thing about it is that the abundance in all regards is tied to everybody opening up, like you're talking about, and all the gears in the clock are they're just they're just doing what they're already designed to do. So yeah, what you're saying, that connection between creativity, life force energy, sacred sexuality, whatever you want to call it, there's a direct connection to abundance in all regards, far beyond money and possession, far beyond that. Like just that magic element that we were talking about earlier, that where these things occur, those are huge activations. You know what I mean? Those are huge, and they're happening a lot, by the way.
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day. This is the stuff. This is the stuff, and it's sometimes we make it a little. Actually, all the time, the ego mind has a way of making things harder than it needs to be, and it's the analysis and our attempts to do it right, and just the idea of doing it right in itself is a blockage.
Yeah.
That's a blockage.
Yeah.
Because it's not about doing it right, it's about doing you. It's about doing it your way. Allowing yourself to dance, allowing yourself to paint, allowing yourself to sing, do it the way that you want to do it. This is creation. This is like, come on. Like galaxies and universes are being created every millisecond. Allow the creator to express itself. That's it. That's it. You're in the physical. Allow the creator, allow God to express itself and be of service to humanity through your sense of self-acceptance. This is about allowance. That's at the foundation of allowance, self-acceptance. Allow it to come out. Stop playing yourself. Stop allowing this voice to stop you from shining your light. You're trying to do it right. Once again, there's no trying when it comes to infinity. There's no trying. There's only expression. There's only shine. That's it. Just shine. Self-acceptance. Come on.
Hell yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, that's why I think just innately I always gravitated to just total spontaneity. Whether it be the art or whether the music or whether it be a show. I still, you know what I mean? I mean, there's just something to be said for it. Ty. I told you, Ty is he's a musical savant. He's just like this, and so I told you I would show up with my, and I still read a little bit. I still write every day and I read a little bit. But he told me early on, he goes, "You're gonna have to put that damn thing up." I'm like, "Man, there's no way, dude. I can't just I can't just freestyle." He goes, "You freestyle when you talk," and I'm like, "Okay." Well, now you just got to find the phrasing and the patterning, and man, sure enough, dude, it's like, and I don't mean to sound. This is about self-love and self-awareness.
Yeah.
I have a hard time watching. I have to cut, excerpts out, and I have a hard time watching myself or hearing myself. But, dude, I got a playlist now, and it's all my music. I'm like, because it takes me back to this place, you know what I mean? And I'm like, God, you did that. But then, here's the cool part. You can't go do it again. We don't ever do the same song twice. Like, it's crazy. Like you can't. That's already done and dusted. Now you show up again, and here you are, bare naked again, bare naked to the soul, totally vulnerable, transparent, and then the little, I don't want to say mistakes, but the like the little things that, like I might start a verse or something, and I'm all out of tone. And hang on, let me start over. Like, they all become part of the perfection, the realness of it. So
Absolutely. This is
It's,
refinement. Refined souls see the beauty in that because they know there's only perfection. Like, I'm not going that there are no mistakes.
Yeah.
Come on, ain't no mistakes. Like, it's just the nature of infinite intelligence. But come on, baby, this is the stuff. You being able to see that and find that space. There are no mistakes.
Yeah.
There's no accidents, no coincidences, no errors, no mishaps. Like, none of that is true. None of that is real. Come on, like really accept yourself. Really allow the beauty to come out. You
Yeah.
just gotta allow it to come out, and that's what you're here for. Thank you. Perfect imperfection. Perfect
Right.
imperfection.
Right.
Absolutely. This is the nature of infinite intelligence.
Right. Wow.
Get your
Yeah,
shine on.
man, that is it. You know, that's really it. You know, we're gonna have a we've had them over the years, but you know, we're gonna have a Soulology gathering Sunday.
Mhm.
Uh, so it'd be like 10 p.m. your time for 4 hours. And so these things are, you know, we roll in town. Now this time I got Ty, and so Ty's gonna be there, and we set it up just like we do on Monday nights.
Mhm.
And now we got a stage. You know, we got 20, 25 people, whatever. We're going to stream it, but and it's so cool because we don't have a plan. All we
Yeah.
have is this bandstand set up where this savant is back there, and he'll just start playing something. And the cool thing about it is, which I've learned from him over the last year, he plays discordant tune. He plays discordant notes to
Mhm.
broaden the range of the spectrum, and it's mind blowing, right? So, but the cool thing about these gatherings is that's what occurs. I'll say, does anybody want to come up and grab the mic, grab the
Mhm.
talking stick, and somebody will come up. You know, every time somebody will come up and say, you know what, I've always wanted to say this. You know, I remember this lady. She was like, I'm 31 years old. I was a crack and meth head for 12 years. I was a prostitute.
Mhm.
Boom, dude. Like, whoa, you don't make this shit up, man.
No.
Boom. Like, just, you know, and then somebody else will get up and go, well, man, she did it. I'm doing it. You know,
Yeah.
and then
Ah,
I remember,
yeah.
yeah, dude. I mean, it's just crazy. It's
Woo.
just like you know, it's like the real thing. It to me, it's like primordial. It's like this is what we did 1,000 years ago. We sat around the campfire or built a bonfire. I mean, these are our rituals. You know, these are not predetermined and pre-rehearsed. They're just the moment, right? And you know, so it's really cool. You know, somebody gets up and does light language. Somebody gets up and does a poem. You know, somebody grabs an instrument, or you know, I've just seen so many, and I really feel like that's our natural nature. Our natural nature is to go from space to space like a bee, and yet we're pollinating, and you know, we're giving and we're sharing. Sharing is giving and receiving equally. It's that equal thing. So yeah, I love what you're speaking. I love what you're speaking. Are you seeing? Are you seeing? Like, what is your take on? I know we can't quantify this stuff, right? We
Go
can't.
ahead.
But like, are you seeing? Or what level of expansion are you seeing amongst people in general through your experience, like through your observations, be it the circles closest to you, and or what you see with your work on social media?
Mhm. It's happening. I just everything is changing. Everything. Like, I mean, once again, this is me as the foundation of my experience. Everything is changing. The people, the their sense of vulnerability is changing, which is extremely um, exploring because the the ability, or at least the capacity of one's own honesty, like truly accepting oneself. Like this is where, yeah, this is where you don't see any flaws in people. That was the point. It was about self acceptance. It was in your ability to accept yourself that the idea of a flaw or mishap, it just went away because you gave yourself the permission to accept it. And of course, if you don't have a problem with it, life will not have a problem with it because you accept
Mm,
it. You were the trigger. You are the one that changed the perspective because you accepted it. You had the strength to do so. It's only that density and discomfort comes from the self judgment that you hold on to. That's where it comes from. You
mm,
trigger it. You're
mm-hmm.
responsible for it. That's what makes it awkward.
I
Problem
love
with it
that.
because if it
That
wasn't
that's the truth, though,
you,
man. You're right. Oh, you trigger me. Oh, you trigger me, or you're my trigger. No, no, no. You're right, Lavelle. I never heard anybody say that, but it's the truth. we're the trigger.
No doubt, you're the trigger. You're holding on to it. It feels
Yeah.
uncomfortable because you're uncomfortable about it. You haven't accepted of that aspect of your journey yet. That's what makes it uncomfortable. That's what makes it awkward because you
Mm.
haven't done so. So once again, that alone time is vital
Yeah. Yeah.
because this is where you do the work. This is where you
Yeah.
establish a deeper sense of self-acceptance. And of course, as you go out into the world, you're experiencing a mirror of the capacity of self-acceptance that you've done inside. Self-love is the foundation of all love. That's what it means. Self-love is the foundation of all love. That's the That's the point. The work that you do by yourself is where you establish the love and capacity of love you have the ability to connect with. That's where it happens inside you. The work that you do alone. And once again, the same thing when it comes to people just kind of getting on stage and airing out their dirty laundry. It's like, yeah, he really done the work, and it's like, all right, cool. I'm in this place of being able to accept the crack smoking and the dick sucking and all what have you. It's just once again, it was you. When you did it, we applauded it. That's what's up. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
That's right.
Good
That's
job.
right. That's right. Yeah, yeah, man, you're like, we're locked in. I'm convinced now we're from the same branch of the tree of life. There's no doubt in my mind.
No doubt about it.
But yeah, I was, because like everybody, you have the, I think we all had some PTSD type, nervous twitches, at different times in our lives, or things that impacted us or that you realize through the nervous system consciousness. Oh, what the hell is that? Why do I always? And I filled my boots, so I had a few things that went down. But the thing was, what I got to a point, and I noticed where I started to shift, and this would have been like early this year, maybe, as we came out of 2022, and that was like, from a soul's perspective, I really understood the wide berth that my human took or has taken in these incarnations, and really any soul. We're taking a very wide berth here of experience. So we are the trigger. We are the polarities. We are the one that dives deep, whether it was done through a temporary understanding that we were perpetrated or we were the perpetrator. We started the war, or we were the one that shot the second, the volley of of bullets back. I mean, it's just, you start to have this profound respect for the balls and the ovaries of a soul, because we pushed the envelope here. We pushed the envelope in an extraordinary way, and it's a universal offering to ourselves and to the universe, to God, like, hey, this is, we pushed the envelope, and that's what we're here to do. We're here to explore and obtain experience. I mean, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
No doubt. That's when you take your power back when you do things like that. That's the subtle, even grand gestures of self-acceptance. It's almost like pounding your chest. Yeah, that's me.
That's right, man. Dap me up. Yeah, you're right. So let's talk a little bit. Are you okay for another 15, 20 minutes?
Come on, baby, rock and roll.
Okay, cool. So I just got to add, because man, I've always admired your artistry, and I also picked this up with Ty, because if you ever go to Sedona, his place, he's got like a sound healing studio. It's a studio, but it's sound healing. It's meant for both, and he's got 6 gongs, and so this is not just music, and it's something I began to understand and then see what I saw like in people like you, and what it is, it's the connection between resonance, sound, colors, geometry, that whole thing without words, although words can be added. And it's kind of like, your, because the last time I looked at your thing, you had like well over 1,000, I think 2,000.
Oh, yeah, about 2,000.
Yeah, and but the thing is, everything that you put out is, well, like today. Like today, you're reaching it. You know, you're speaking it like it is, man. And it's music to
Mhm.
my ears, right? But like your music, same thing. It's a conscious, it's a conscious creation. It's not just, you know, and we all have our evolutions, but I mean, it's a conscious creation. And hanging out with him, reflecting on stuff like you and the work you've done with you and your collaborators and by yourself, I start to realize that there's this other thing coming online here that's about vibration ultimately, a
Yeah.
vibrational reality in the moment spontaneously through these creative collaborations. So having said all that, how's are you doing anything with the music now? You mentioned earlier about, you know, being on the stage. I think is what you were alluding. But what are you doing music wise? Are you getting into anything new, or just kind of still building off of what you've been doing?
Yeah, this was my this past couple of weeks has been my gate back into the musical world. As, as you've noticed, I haven't recorded in a while. It's been a
Mm,
while.
mm,
Um, my stepmother passed, and then my father passed, like
mm,
back to back, early this year. So I kind of had to go home and take care of my little sister and my little brother and their assets and cars and
yeah,
paperwork, lawyers and what have you. And yeah, that I'm still processing
yeah,
those emotions
yeah,
just because of the experience and the depth of connection, a lot of unsaid
yeah,
um, aspects, or at least the depth of the relationship me and my father had,
yeah,
because he's been a big example for me. So processing those experiences was a big deal for me, and of course the emotional depth of that, and then of course my little brother and little sister, and then of course my one of my other younger brothers, passed away in 2016. So it's been a succession of transitions within my immediate family. So it's like, all right, cool. Now, let's go and take care of the formalities. And then I had to go to Africa, teach some meditation classes, and come back. The work continues, but at the same time, I've been a little mute. To allow myself to process those emotions, because yeah, it's a human experience. No, go ahead and process that stuff, and you really have to be in the experience and allow the emotions to come up, and they come up at their own time sometimes. So you can't
yeah,
rush the stuff. It's like, no, but at the same time, you do the work. However, I feel a lot of depth of
mm,
emotion and content in those experiences in the journey over the last year. So I haven't recorded any 2023. Like there's no 2023 songs from me. And of course the crew is kind of, everybody's doing their thing, and we had
mm,
our differences or what have you, but at the same time, I've kind of been the foundation of that experience as well. So it's like, hey, take some time to reflect, allow the emotional packets to unpack themselves, and yeah, this particular time, I feel like it's now time to get back into it. I'm in my own space once again and kind of settled. So nothing major is going on around me, but I feel this bubbling resonance of energy and self expression coming up now. So it's
mm,
like, no, it's time to let those emotions, those feelings, this refinement come out. Because, of course, amongst all of that, me doing studying and practical work and self expression, these are all aspects of my musical ability. So it's like you reach portals of upgrades where now
right,
it's time to go in and create some very powerful music and
yeah,
allow yourself to express yourself, because you took the time to be with the energy versus immediately kind of jumping out there and doing it. No, let the emotions and the packets of information, the downloads and connections from the passing and transition of loved ones, those communications, allow all that stuff to come through, and now it's time to engage once again. So that's been a
yeah,
thing for me, and sometimes we have to give ourselves those small spaces of self acceptance, and being comfortable with not acting, not
right,
doing, not creating. This has been an extremely large year of feminine embrace for me. I've embraced a lot of feminine energy. As you said, I'm used to creating and expressing and talking and kind of being on stage and doing stuff, but we actually have to allow ourselves to be in that space of receptivity, to execute in a refined manner. Allow the emotional content to integrate itself within your being, and when it's time, you'll know.
Yeah.
Then you go ahead and get back up and do what you need to do, because then you have something serious to express, some real depth and creativity to allow yourself to express amongst your brothers and sisters. And that's a service, because at the end of the day, come on, we all have these experiences at our time. It's just that when your time comes, take the time to be with it, so you allow the real encoded healing communications from your own guardians and packets of information from those healing experiences to be encoded within your expressions, because at that time, you'll actually be assisting other people in the midst, or possibly in the midst of their own experiences, because you actually gathered the data and you took the time to truly receive what you needed to express what the divine was attempting to communicate to you through those experiences. What did you need, or what did you realize during your healing? What did you realize about your connections, the relationships that you had with these individuals? What was necessary or beneficial for you individually to heal? Allow that to be expressed creatively in the music. And of course, through that, you're being of service to countless souls. Allow yourself to be the vehicle of that information by being responsible enough to take the time to process the emotions and the energy, and being responsible about the circumstances. Yes, grieving must take place, but at the same time, don't miss the jewels. That's jewelry in those tears. You got to collect that. You got to collect the gold in those experiences and allow it to be of support to those around you.
That's right, man.
Oh yeah, that's
well, I mean, it's kind of strange to say certain things now that the awareness has expanded to the level it has, but still, like you said, all respect to the human experience, and I'm sorry that you had to go through a lot of the things that you're talking about. Your words speaking to it are, again, I mean, like you're in my head. I mean, I totally get what you're saying. I mean, I can look at it with the things I write at night. There's some things I've been working on for months. I just go down the line and go back to it, and you're right. You go back to these moments that you were receiving code or creating code. Really, like how do you bring this into alignment? Well, it's never been done before. So and like this way, this channeling, this like it's sacred. And so I really get what you're saying, and really, in regard to everything, I'm starting to really get this part too. Like even with Soulology, I was telling you before the show, like, man, you heard me talking about this for years and years and years, and I got tired of putting my foot in my mouth. But at some point, I did shut up, and I took that pressure off myself, because it was, again, I was the trigger, right? Like you said, and I realized that there was no hurry, that was taken away from what I'm understanding that I'm purposefully creating, and a song is the same way, right? Like you get like 3 verses and a hook, and you're like, oh, I got to get this out right now. And then you learn, no, wait a minute. It's not in how many people see it, or how many views, or how many this or that. You're actually anchoring this in. You're anchoring this in, and everybody's getting a piece of this, whether they know it or not. So that's something that what you're saying really speaks to me. And I'm holding consciously every day as I am part of this collaboration within the collaboration within the collaboration. I really feel your words. I mean, I really do. And at a time when there are a lot of folks transitioning. You know, I just got
Hmm.
a call yesterday. Uh, I mean, I've had two very recently, and that's just in like the family circle, and then just from the call yesterday, getting the download. There's going to be more coming in fast, right?
Yeah.
And so like listening to what you're saying and really honoring all the feelings and all that life has to offer in these points of passageway. These are
Hmm.
gateways. They're stargates. They're portals,
Yeah.
and they're fucking real, man. And I really appreciate your candor and you going into that such a personal,
Hmm.
set of streams. I really appreciate that. I think that's very
No,
helpful.
it's an honor because at the end of the day, there are those who experience and or who have already experienced the same thing. The same thing. It's just um, the sense of maturity in your approach is what's helping everybody. It's
Yeah,
helping everybody with these experiences.
yeah,
There are people who need to hear what you have to say. Each and every one of us as an individual, there are people who need to hear exactly what you want to say. Are you going to let it out? They need to hear it. It's just that the contemplation within is necessary first. It's not necessarily about being on a platform and having a large audience. It's just about you being able to express yourself and share the knowing that's being provided within your own heart. You're like, once again, you are supporting those around you, but it's in your strength to be
mm-hmm.
vulnerable, to be open, to allow
Mm-hmm.
your voice to be heard because you're an expression of God. Please, God, what do I need to hear? Say something,
Right.
because there are those who said something when you needed to hear it as well,
Yeah.
constantly. So do the work, do the work, share it, say what you need to say.
Yeah.
We're once again, this is a team effort, but the individual has to be responsible within themselves in order to do what's of the greatest benefit to the team, do the
Yeah.
work, and it's
That's
very
right.
simple.
That's exactly right. That's what I understand. Even like with the developments at Soulology. I mean, it's a situation where everybody rows their own boat. I mean, you know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean? And it's beautiful. I remember I walked out after about 10 days. It was about 15 days of 15 hours a day, just humping it, and you don't really, and that's which is good because you don't really get in your head. You just act, move, rhythm. And then I walked out into the to went for a walk, and I was like, I just started to take it in real quick, like, okay, man, is this working? And then I just heard, dude, you got it. I'm like, what do you mean? Oh, you got it. People are just going to show up and do what they want to do. They're going to be themselves. They're in a space where they can dance, they can sing, they can talk, they can do whatever they want. And that's the contagion right there. I'm like, oh, holy shit, yeah, man. I don't. And since that day, I have breathed easier and easier. I'm just like, okay, it's actually happening. The linear time thing's going away. I'm happy to hear that you're traveling again, and and I just want to ask you too. Like, that's cool. You went to Africa. What did you do in Africa? You talked about some meditations. Where'd you go? How long were you there? What'd you do? How was that
there's
experience?
there's an island on the west, off the west coast of Africa. It's called Capo Verde, and it was an amazingly beautiful place, beautiful water. It's my
Mm-hmm.
first time in Africa, but I was invited out there by a colleague to teach some meditation classes. I developed like maybe like two or three routines, and went down the line of those routines, and people truly enjoyed themselves. It was awesome to go out and kind of like kick it with the locals and eat with my hands and get
Wow.
dirty and what I mean, walk around with my feet out and ashy elbows. You know what I mean? It was it was an awesome experience just to kind of like
Wow.
be just be on earth, like be with people, to just connect with people. A lot of times People didn't even speak English, but just the vibe was there, the openness was there, and uh, these are amazing experiences. Like, just once again, just being in the dirt and being with life,
Yeah.
being in this space of beauty, allowing some of the things that we speak about, especially when it comes to social media, and a lot of times this spiritual fabric that we're kind of embracing. It's like, well, it's an embodiment. It
Yeah.
really is an integration and embodiment. It's not necessarily eloquent words and beautiful posts and kind of doing the hippie thing. It's really true, grounded authenticity in being an expression of the all in a physical body, and being able to view reflections of self in a space of honor and humility, like beyond anything superficial. They don't have to belong to cliques or wear crystals or beads or what have you. Like, we just, once again, just being amongst reflections, being human, and
Mm.
being in a body, and like walking around, being in nature. All of these things, like, it's extremely liberating, and you get to reflect on your own expansion, your own maturity, and just being in that space. And beyond all the superficial stuff, like really embodying what you're talking about. This was amazing. That was yeah, that, like, just looking up to the heavens, like, no, we really down here.
Yeah.
We really down here, and it's amazing. I love it.
Dude, you're amazing. You're amazing, and I love you, man.
I love you. Yeah.
We're doing it, man.
Yeah, come on, baby. It's
We're
time.
doing it. We're doing it.
It's time.
I'll reach out to you soon. Uh,
Hmm.
I got a couple things on my mind, and
Yeah.
yeah, in divine timing. But man, I love you. I love you for what you're doing. I love you for being a reflection of me and everybody else. And I just wish you the
Absolutely.
best always. And if there's anything ever I can do, I really mean it. Whatever I
Absolutely.
could do, you
Mhm.
just know you got, you already know. So
Time will come. We in here.
I know.
We down here.
Yeah, I know. I know that. There ain't no doubt in my mind. And Katie, bar the fucking door when it happens, because
Yes, sir.
we're going to call in all the ancestors and descendants. And
No doubt about it.
yeah. So, yeah, take care, brother. I love you, man.
Love y'all.
Peace
So
out.
work.
All right, brother.
Peace.
All right, man.